Hello, and welcome to the Spoken Conspiracy, also known as the Armageddon Conspiracy on YouTube. I've decided after much thought to recreate in a vocal audiobook sense, as I've been doing, the complete articles that were removed from the original website of www.armageddonconspiracy.co.uk. I'm not going to get into the reasons why it was removed, but I have a copy of all of the articles that were on there before they were removed. And so now I'm going to faithfully recreate in playlists the articles. I may have an playlist that's articles 1 through 10. The next playlist is articles 11 through 20. So there's 102, and there's quite a lot of information that got removed from the website. If you look at the current iteration of the website, it is nothing like what it used to be. Right? It's basically an advertisement for a bunch of books on Amazon, which isn't a bad thing. The books aren't bad, but man, there was some heavy-hitting shit in the original article. So without further ado, we're going to zero in on Article 1 called Thermidor. Pull that up. Not sure how this renders, but we'll do what we can. Hell, we are each our own devil, and we make this world our hell. Oscar Wilde. The totally rich. They're the totally rich. You've never heard of them because they are the only people in the world rich enough to buy what they want, a completely private life. They do not have neighbors, and if they require a murder, they do not use so clumsy a means as an axe. And if by some other 1,000,000 to 1 chance the searchlight does tend towards them, they buy it and instruct the man behind it to switch it off. How many of them there are, I don't know. I have tried to estimate the total by adding together the gross national product of every country and dividing by the amount necessary to buy a government of a major industrial power. It goes without saying that you cannot maintain privacy unless you can buy any two governments. I think there may be 100 of these people. They are not on maps. Literally, where they choose to live becomes a blank spot in the atlases. They are not in census lists, who's who or Burke's peerage. They do not figure in tax collectors' files, and the post office has no record of the addresses. Think of all the places where your name appears. The yellowing school registers, the hospital case records, the duplicate receipt form in the store, the signature on letters. In no single such place is one of their names. John Brunner, The Totally Rich. The Totally Rich is a brilliant short story. It's fiction, but it might as well be fact. We live in a world that is all about serving every need and whim of the super rich and leaving the people to rot. The most important concept in modern politics and economics is rebooting. To understand what this means, consider the richest football league in the world, the English Premier League. Out of 20 teams, there are only 2 or 3 that can realistically win the contest, all owned by foreign billionaires. All the other teams are also Rands, mostly languishing in mid-table mediocrity, in the relegation zone, desperately fighting for survival. Football works like this. At the start of the season, every team begins from the same starting point, for example, with 0 points. As the season progresses, each team keeps the points it has accumulated, and at the end of the season, the team that has accumulated the most points wins the league and is awarded the trophy. At first sight, it all looks quite meritocratic, equal opportunities and unequal outcomes. All teams begin with an apparent equal opportunity to win, and they will succeed if they are meritorious enough. Of course, the stark reality is that the big teams turn up each year with enormous inherited wealth from all the previous years of success, and it would take a miracle for any of the little teams with none of the privileged existence of the stellar teams to compete effectively. Now, the Football League starts to resemble the actual world we live in. From the get go, most of us start with no chance at all. We can't compete. We don't have the resources. We are outgunned every time by the rich, powerful, and privileged. With all of their inherited wealth and influence, their ability to rig the game to suit their own agenda and to harm ours. As we said, each year the league is rebooted. Every team starts again from the same starting line, 0 points. Yet this is no genuine rebooting. Some teams begin with enormous and overwhelming inherited wealth, privilege, and power. Life itself is even worse, even more rigged. There is no rebooting at all in our world. Inherited wealth and power, the basis of the rule of the dynastic families, the old world order, is completely unchecked and unchallenged, and even encouraged, celebrated, and aspired to. Like the Football League, we need a regular rebooting to restore everyone to the same starting line. But if we are genuinely interested in equal opportunities and fair and just competition, we also need to reboot the wealth, power, and privilege of all the competitors. In other words, anyone who is authentically interested in competition and meritocracy must support 100% inheritance tax. Imagine a football league where all of the teams have the same resources at the start of the season. We will have a proper competition and a proper meritorious outcome. Anything else is a farce. All systems and all markets are rigged. We can't break out from unfairness and injustice until we smash to smithereens all means of rigging the game of life. You can either go on insanely trying to succeed in a game where the winners were decided before you were even born, or you can stand up for yourself and do something about it. It's entirely your choice. If you oppose 100% inheritance, then you have made your choice. You are a supporter of the privileged elites that run the world. You want the 1% to continue to apply their boot to the back of the 99%. That makes you guilty of high treason against the people. You are an enemy of the people, and when the revolution comes, you know what fate must befall you. While the elite can look forward to winning all of the glittering prizes life has to offer, everyone else is in the relegation zone, desperately trying to keep themselves from drowning. It's insane that we carry on in this way. There is no greater issue facing the human race than that the 99% should dictate to the 1% and not the other way around. The French Revolution showed what must be done. We need a second enlightenment, preceded by a second revolution, where the natural order of fair competition and everyone having a proper chance is restored. Join our movement or declare your support for the ancient regime. Everything and nothing. They get everything and you get nothing. How long will you tolerate it? The life lottery. With the start of every football season, the fans of the little teams can dream of winning the league, even though the grim reality soon sets in. Resetting the league to zero at least gives them hope. Hope, after all, springs eternal. But now imagine a league which is never reset. The gulf between the rich and poor teams would grow ever wider, so vast eventually that they could no longer even see each other. They would be living almost parallel existences, except when they have to play each other, regarding which outcome is always certain. That's the world we're living in, the world of privilege and inheritance, entirely free of social, political, and economic rebooting. The number one item on the agenda of the elite is to ensure that rebooting is impossible. They lobby continuously on behalf of zero inheritance tax. They brand anyone who mentions 100% inheritance tax a socialist or communist. And in America, that's like calling someone a Muslim terrorist. Poor people dream of winning the lottery to change their lives. Heirs and heiresses don't. They have already won the lottery of life. Any sane, rational society must abolish the lottery. Everyone must be given the chance they deserve. Your fate and that of your children is entirely dependent on the introduction of a rebooting mechanism for the world. Thermidor. One does not make revolutions by halves. St. Just. The revolution has grown cold. All its principles are weakened. There remains only red caps worn by intriguers. St. Just. Dare, this word contains all the politics of all revolution. St. Just. Thermidor was the 11th month in the French Republican calendar. The month was named after the French word thermo, which comes from the Greek word thermos, which means heat. Because of the Thermidorian reaction, 9 Thermidor year 2, the overthrow of revolutionary radical Maximilien Robespierre and his followers in that month, the word Thermidor has come to mean a retreat from more radical goals and strategies during a revolution, especially when caused by a replacement of leading personalities. The Thermidorian reaction was a coup d'etat within the French Revolution against the leaders of the Jacobin Club who had dominated the Committee of Public Safety. It was triggered by a vote of the National Convention to execute Maximilien Robespierre, Louis Antoine de Saint-Just, and several other leading members of the revolutionary government. This ended the most radical phase of the French Revolution. Robespierre and Saint-Just were overthrown on 27 July 1994 and executed the following day. With their deaths, the French Revolution effectively ended. Soon after came the rise of Napoleon, who made himself an emperor and appointed members of his family as kings. The secret of freedom lies in educating people, whereas the secret of tyranny is in keeping them ignorant. Maximilien Robespierre. To punish the oppressors of humanity is clemency. To forgive them is cruelty. Maximilien Robespierre. The king must die so that the country can live. Maximilien Robespierre. Pity is treason. Maximilien Robespierre. Crime butchers innocence to secure a throne, and innocence struggles with all its might against the attempts of a crime. Maximilien Robespierre. The general will rules in society as the private will governs each separate individual. Maximilien Robespierre. Meritocracy. Thesis. Communism. Equal opportunities, equal outcomes. Communism is a rigged system of forced equality run by a sinister totalitarian party. The antithesis, capitalism. Unequal opportunities, unequal outcomes. Capitalism is a rigged system of privilege for the few and the hard grind for the rest, alleviated by bread and circuses, run by a sinister predatory capitalist, super rich elite hiding behind a fake democracy. The people have no power in capitalism, only those with capital have power. Synthesis, meritocracy. Equal opportunities, unequal outcomes. Meritocracy is a free system. There's no privileged elite and no totalitarian party. In a fully established meritocracy, there will be no political parties at all. They will be redundant, just as they are in Star Trek. The superfluous ones. Many, too many are born, for the superfluous ones was the state devised. Behold, the superfluous ones, they steal the works of the creators and the treasures of the wise. Culture, they call their theft, and everything becometh sickness and trouble to them. Behold, the superfluous ones, they are always sick. They vomit their bile and call it a newspaper. They devour one another and cannot even digest it themselves. Behold the superfluous ones, they acquire wealth and become poorer for it. They seek power, and the lever of power, much money, these impotent ones. See them clamber, these nimble apes. They clamber over one another and thus pull each other into the mud and the abyss. They all strive for the throne. This is their madness, as if happiness sat on the throne. Often filth sits on the throne, and often also the throne on filth. Madmen they all seem to me, and clamoring apes and too eager. Foul smells their idol to me, the cold monster. Foul they all smell to me, these idolaters. My brothers, will you suffocate in the fumes of their maws and appetites? Better to break the windows and jump into the open air. Escape from their foul stench. Escape from the idolatry of the superfluous. Escape from their foul stench, escape from the steam of these human sacrifices. The earth is yet free for great souls. There are still many empty sites for the lonesome and the twosome, surrounded by the fragrance of the tranquil seas. A free life is yet possible for great souls. He who possesses little is that much less possessed. Blessed be a little poverty. Look there, my brothers, do you not see it? The rainbow and the bridges of the Superman. Thus spake Zarathustra, Nietzsche. I teach you the Superman. Mankind is something to be overcome. What have you done to overcome mankind? Nietzsche. Where is your bridge to heaven? If you cannot construct it, follow those that can. The rainbow bridge is a mathematical bridge of pure light, and none but the gods can reach the other side. Do you know how to walk on a light beam? No? Then find those that do and learn from them. Don't proclaim that one answer is as good as any other. Incommensurate minds. Given Occam's razor, the search for the most economic explanation, what's the simpler explanation? That God created the universe, or that it jumped out of nothing for no reason? Is either of these even an explanation at all, or simply an ideological claim? How can you compare and contrast two such radically different explanations? They don't share the same language. As Thomas Kuhn points out, they are incommensurate. Wikipedia says, according to Kuhn, the scientific paradigms preceding and succeeding a paradigm shift are so different that their theories are incommensurable. The new paradigm cannot be proven or disproven by the rules of the old paradigm, and vice versa. A later interpretation by Kuhn of commensurable versus incommensurable was as a distinction between languages, namely that statements in commensurable languages were translatable fully from one to the other, while in incommensurable languages, strict translation is not possible. The paradigm shift does not merely involve the revision or transformation of an individual theory. It changes the way terminology is defined, how the scientists in that field view their subject, and perhaps most significantly, what questions are regarded as valid and what rules are used to determine the truth of a particular theory. The new theories were not, as the scientists had previously thought, just extensions of old theories, but were instead completely new world views. Such incommensurability exists not just before and after a paradigm shift, but in the periods in between conflicting paradigms. It is simply not possible, according to Kuhn, to construct an impartial language that can be used to perform a neutral comparison between conflicting paradigms, because the very terms used are integral to the respective paradigms and therefore have different connotations in each paradigm. The advocates of mutually exclusive paradigms are in a difficult position. Though each may hope to convert the other to his way of seeing science and its problems, neither may hope to prove his case. The competition between paradigms is not the sort of battle that can be resolved by proofs. Scientists subscribing to different paradigms end up talking past one another. Kuhn states that the probabilistic tools used by verificationists are inherently inadequate for the task of deciding between conflicting theories, since they belong to the very paradigms they seek to compare. Similarly, observations that are intended to falsify a statement will fall under one of the paradigms that are supposed to help compare, and will therefore also be inadequate for the task. According to Kuhn, the concept of falsifiability is unhelpful for understanding why and how science has developed as it has. In the practice of science, scientists will not only consider the possibility that a theory has been falsified if an alternative theory is available that they judge credible. If there is not, scientists will continue to adhere to the established conceptual framework. If a paradigm shift has occurred, the textbooks will be written to state that the previous theory has been falsified. It's a crucial point that scientists refuse to deem a theory falsified unless they have migrated to a new theory via a paradigm shift. This means that the falsification principle is absurd, since science does not use it when falsification has actually occurred, but only when a successful new paradigm has been established. That's like someone waiting to find a new religion before they abandon their previous religion. You ought to abandon it as soon as you know it's false. You cannot compare incommensurate theories. You can compare only theories that belong to the same order. Scientific, religious, spiritual, philosophical, and mathematical explanations are all incommensurate. Theories based on words, emotions, and faith, mythos explanations, cannot be compared with theories based on numbers and reason, logos explanations. Scientific theories based on the senses cannot be compared with theories based on reason and logic. Theories based on words are incommensurate with theories based on numbers. Theories based on words or numbers are incommensurate with theories based on sensations. Mythos and logos theories are incommensurate. Empiricist theories are incommensurate with rationalist theories. Physical theories are incommensurate with metaphysical theories. Faith theories are incommensurate with theories based on reason. Emotional theories are incommensurate with thinking theories. Sensory theories are incommensurate with intuitive theories. Mystical theories are incommensurate with rational theories. Sensory theories are incommensurate with non-sensory theories. Why are hidden variables repudiated by science? Because they are incommensurate with scientific experimentalism. Human beings are always talking at cross purposes. They argue over theories that are wholly uncommensurate. The real issue is this: what kind of theory has the right qualities and properties to provide a definite answer to existence? All wrong theories are incommensurate with the right theory of existence. Not all theories are equal. There is no relativism of theories. One is right and all the rest are wrong. If you haven't identified the right one, you have wasted your life and failed the exam your existence has set for you. As soon as you say there are many ways to enlightenment, you have proved you have no idea what enlightenment is. Only once you have defined enlightenment ontologically and epistemologically can you know how to attain it. Otherwise, you are making it up as you go along. Neither by land nor by sea shalt thou find the road to the Hyperboreans. The question: what is a thought made of? How do thoughts flow? How do they interact? How does one thought turn into the next? How do we remember? Where are our memories stored? Where are our thoughts located? What is a feeling made of? What is a sensation made of? What is I'm going to have to pause here. I'm going to keep reading. But if you've gotten this far in the broadcast, I've read a lot of Armageddon conspiracy stuff. I'm having deja vu, like this was in a Truth Series book. Okay? The Truth Series is by Dr. Thomas Stark. And there was a book on thoughts. And it's cut and paste from this thing. This was in, this exact wording was in there. And that's why I kind of wonder sometimes about AC. I think they took down the articles, that I'm showing you guys over time, because they just cleaned them up and turned them into books to sell them. It's like, why are we going to give this away free? We can sell it on Amazon and make money. It's meritocratic. Well, I don't know. Billy Bob has to make his $3 for writing a manuscript. But Tyrone in Ghana needs to know the truth of ontological mathematics and how things work so he can help overthrow the demiurge that enslaves him. That's all I gotta say. And I'll continue reading this cut and paste that I saw in the Truth series. Keep in mind, this article was written like around 2012. Truth series came out in the past couple of years. What is a thought made of? How do thoughts flow? How do they interact? How does one thought turn into the next? How do we remember? Where are our memories stored? Where are our thoughts located? What is a feeling made of? What is a sensation made of? What is an intuition made of? What is a desire made of? What is your will made of? What is your soul made of? How are such things able to exist at all? If you can't answer these questions, you literally know nothing about the fundamental nature of existence. When it comes to understanding reality, people fail at the first step. They cannot understand the difference between noumena and phenomena, between the appearance of something and that thing without an appearance, between the information carrier and the information carried. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, intuitions, and so on are all empirical information. They are what we experience, but they are all conveyed by things, information carriers, that we never experience under any circumstances. They are always hidden by the very fact that they carry unhidden information. The unhidden hides the hidden. Imagine listening to your favorite song. What you experience is the sound information conveyed by sound waves. You do not experience the sound waves themselves, the carriers of the sounds. You don't hear pressure waves bombarding your eardrums. Do you get it? Existence has two aspects: the carrier of information and the information carried. We are the entities that experience information. What we experience is the information carried and never the information carrier. That has catastrophic consequences for human understanding. Virtually every theory of existence ever devised concerns the information carried and ignores the information carrier. Yet there would be no information carried without the information carrier. The carrier is what makes the information, and without it, there is nothing at all. Just eternal non-existence. When Leibniz asked why there is something rather than nothing, what he was really asking is why information carriers exist. They can exist for one reason alone. Mathematics allows all information carriers to be exactly equal to zero. Since it's impossible to stop nothing, then anything that is precisely equal to nothing without being absolutely nothingness, for example, total non-existence, must exist. The secret of existence is that thanks to mathematics and mathematics alone, it's possible to create things that exist while being nothing. The answer to Leibniz's question is that something is nothing. It's not that something exists rather than nothing, it's that something exists because it is nothing. Mathematical nothing, which is entirely different from nothingness. The universe is made of invisible, non-sensory mathematical waves that are at all times equal to zero, hence are impossible to detect. Yet, because they are also somethings, i.e., mathematical definable entities, they carry information. It's this information that you experience, but of course you experience it as anything other than mathematics. Indeed, mathematics is the last thing that would occur to you while you were having an experience. Your feelings, for example, seem like the opposite of mathematics, yet they are is mathematical information being subjectively experienced. Non-sensory reason, which has nothing at all to do with your feelings or sensations, is how you access non-sensory mathematics. However, because your feelings and sensations seem concrete and immediate to you, while reason seems cold, abstract, and unreal, you can't help but delude yourself that your feelings and sensations are revealing reality to you, when in fact, the exact opposite is true. They are Maya, illusion, phenomenon, concealing reality from you. Only your reason can break on through to the other side and reach the hidden mathematical world that defines all of reality, including why you are here, what you are, what the meaning of your life is, what your purpose is, and what your fate is. You have an immortal, indestructible soul. It's immortal and indestructible exactly because it's nothing, and you can't destroy or degrade nothing. Your soul is the most exquisite mathematical entity. Its foundation lies in the most beautiful formula of mathematics, Euler's formula, from which is derived what is regarded as the most beautiful equation of all, Euler's identity. Euler's identity is none other than a snapshot of your soul, while Euler's formula is suitably generalized, describes your entire soul. Of course, 99% of humanity cannot grasp this. They recoil from any notion that reality is pure math. Their soul is pure math, and all their feelings and dreams are pure math. Nothing could be more objectionable to them, and more improbable as far as they are concerned. So it goes. The most difficult thing of all is to overcome Maya, your own propaganda, delusions, opinions, conjectures, beliefs, and interpretations. The red pill that takes you down the rabbit hole to ultimate reality is one that you will certainly be refusing, because the pill is pure math. And nothing is more terrifying to you than that. Like Cypher in the Matrix, the blue pill is much more to your liking, because you can tell yourself whatever bullshit you like, whatever floats your boat, whatever comforts you, whatever accommodates your personality, your feelings, your imagination, your hopes and dreams, and so on. Lies have always been infinitely more attractive to humanity than the truth. Lying to yourself has always been a human being's most characteristic trait. There are literally infinite ways to empirically interpret reality, but there's only one rational truth. The mathematical truth of the information carriers to define everything and make everything possible. Of course, what you would like us to tell you is that there are myriad different ways to enlightenment, and it's extremely likely that whatever way you have personally chosen is exactly right. But we're not going to tell you that. In fact, we're going to tell you the absolute opposite. You are totally deluded and immersed in a vast ocean of delusion. You are clueless about how to become enlightened, and everything you try is 100% futile. Everything you do is about fleeing from the true path. Existence has a single answer. That answer is mathematics. If you're on any other path, you're on the road to nowhere. You're on the relativism road where there are many answers to existence as there are people. It's real simple. Reality either has one answer or no answer at all. If existence has infinite answers, it has no answer. Since infinite answers mean you can believe whatever you like, if it has only one answer, there's only one way to arrive at it. You can't solve a mathematical equation by reciting Shakespeare, praying to Jehovah, or meditating under a tree. You can solve math only by doing math. and everything else is pie in the sky. We're not here to convince you of anything. We're not asking you to believe anything we say. Frankly, we couldn't care less what you believe. We're here to communicate with like-minded people, to reach out to the smart, rational people of the world, the ones who will decide the future of the human race. What explains reality is the eternal, necessary information carrier. The information carrier is mathematics. To be precise, all information in the universe is conveyed by sine and cosine waves, pure energy waves, the basic versions of which are ontologically defined by Euler's formula, the New World Order. The answer to reality does not exist in terms of the temporal contingent empirical information carrier. Information is interpretive. Believe whatever you like, whatever rocks your world, but there's only one absolute truth. It's not that of the interpretive empirical information, but of the rational information carrier. Have you got it? You experience information, but you don't experience the information carrier. Yet, the information carrier is the answer to why the information you treasure so much exists in the first place. The information carrier is beyond empiricism, but not beyond rationalism. Our reason, not our senses and our feelings, reveals the truth. Our senses confer an appearance on the information carried. Our feelings allow us to experience information as pleasurable, useful to us, or painful, harmful to our objectives. Neither our senses our feelings tell us a single thing about the information carrier. Human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. William James. The thing you must change above all is your attitude to the truth. You must ask yourself what kind of character truth must have, and how can we access it? Do we access eternal, necessary truth via our feelings, our senses, our intuitions, or our reason? If the truth is not about feelings, it's pointless to bring your feelings to the search for the truth. Is the truth about bare awareness? What does that even mean? Bare awareness concerns a hypothetical, empirical state of mind. It has a precisely zero connection with eternal, necessary, knowledgeable, intelligible truth. When you get down to it, humans are looking for anything other than the truth. They want things to feed their senses, feelings, and intuitions, and they have contempt for reason. Yet only reason is actually about eternal, necessary truth. 1 + 1 = 2 is the truest statement you've ever encountered. If it's true forever and without a doubt, unlike all of your feelings, sensations, hypotheses, beliefs, opinions, experiences, interpretations, and mystical intuitions. Science. Science is a use system, not a truth system. For example, it provides an effective model of phenomena while telling us zero about noumena. Math alone has truth value. The Buddha. Monty Python's Life of Brian contains one of the greatest lines ever. All right, but apart from the sanitation, the medicine, education, wine, public order, irrigation, roads, the freshwater system, and the public health, what have the Romans ever done for us? This is a great test. What has X ever done for us? What, for example, did the Buddha ever do for the human race? Nothing. What have math and science done for the human race? Everything. Who in their right mind sneers at math and science books and prefers to pick up books on the Buddha? How much hatred of knowledge would you need to possess to make that choice? The infection of idiocracy is total. People despise reason logic, and knowledge. They just want to chant and meditate and achieve no mind, i.e., the total absence of intelligent thought. The Buddha is a joke. Moses is a joke. Jesus Christ is a joke. Mohammed is a joke. All prophets and gurus are a joke. They have done nothing for the human race. All progress has been despite these people, not because of them. Yet billions of people still support these clowns and drag their ancient, decrepit knowledge into today's world and inflict it on rational people. What person in their right mind wants to ignore the Renaissance, the age of reason, the Enlightenment, and all the great philosophers, and turn to ancient mystics and madmen, spouting ancient superstitions that have been refuted for millennia? Nietzsche contra the Buddha. In a chapter of Thus Spake Zarathustra entitled The Preachers of Death, Friedrich Nietzsche wrote about the Buddha. There are those with consumption of the soul, hardly are they born when they begin to die and to long for doctrines of weariness and renunciation. They would like to be dead, and we should welcome their wish. Let us beware of waking the dead and disturbing these living coffins. They encounter a sick man, or an old man, or a corpse, and immediately say, "Life is refuted." But only they themselves are refuted in their eyes, which will see only this one face of existence. Buddhism is a death cult. It's about renouncing, denouncing, and despising life. It's about detaching from life and detaching from mind. It's not about enlightenment, it's endarkenment. Just as the Abrahamists worship the devil and call him God, the Buddhists worship the dark and call it light. You cannot be a supporter of Nietzsche and a Buddhist. Nietzsche is the opposite of the Buddha. Buddha was a life denier, Nietzsche a life affirmer. Nietzsche did not advocate escaping from samsara, but celebrating the fact that you are stuck in it forever via eternal recurrence. The despisers of knowledge. People who imagine they can meditate their way to knowledge are deranged. You might as well have a lobotomy. It says everything about you if you reject reason. Rationalism is the path to enlightenment, and instead embrace meditation, empiricism. How can an ephemeral state of mind be a state of absolute knowledge and understanding of the universe? Do you believe that you will miraculously learn and know everything without using reason and logic, but simply by sitting under a tree with your eyes closed? You must despise knowledge to imagine that knowledge is associated with meditation rather than reason. It's a category error to link meditation to knowledge. Imagine if all the world's great mathematicians, scientists, and philosophers had rejected reason and simply meditated. We would now be living in the Stone Age, which is exactly where Buddhism leads. Wikipedia says, mindfulness is the intentional accepting and non-judgmental focus of one's attention on the emotions, thoughts, and sensations occurring in the present moment, which can be trained by meditational practices that are described in detail in the Buddhist tradition. Is this really what people regard as the path to knowledge, understanding, control, and mastery of their existence? Is this what they regard as the means to bring about enlightenment? Where is the reason, the logic, the ontology, the epistemology, the metaphysics, the science, and the mathematics? This is moron's charter for lazy people who can't abide thinking. The enemies of knowledge. Jews, Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, and Buddhists are all enemies of knowledge. How dare humanity turn its back on reason, logic, mathematics, science, and philosophy in favor of superstition, faith, mysticism, meditation, revelation, and mythos? The past was mythos. The future is logos. From the darkness of stories and words to the light of reasons and numbers, the false prophets are legion. The truth tellers are the rarest things in the universe. When Pythagoras said that all things are numbers, that statement contained more truth than every religious and spiritual statement ever made. This universe is made of numbers, energy, frequencies, ontological vibrations. It's not made of words or matter or sensations or feelings or bare awareness or any other mumbo jumbo. The universe is ordered, structured, rational, and intelligible exactly because it's made of math. If you don't like the truth, too bad. No one is compelled to leave the world of lies and accept that truth. Only a special kind of human being can have a relationship with the truth. Really smart human beings who can understand the ontology of mathematics. Such understanding is beyond 99% of humanity, so it goes. It's the extraordinary to the degree which human intelligence has been betrayed. Billions of people can't cope with any degree of complexity, and at the first opportunity slide back to primitive beliefs, superstitions, and stories. How can Well, I guess we'll split this up into a second video. See you on part 2.